We're standing here in front of an old Presbyterian church in Coffeeville, Mississippi. This was founded in 1805, and we're going to take a tour of the church, which is now the Yalobusha Historical Society. And Mr. Chris Morgan, which was one of the original members, and he's now on the board, is going to be our host and carry us to. First, we'll start in the church. Mr. Morgan.
I'd be happy to show you. Let's go on in. This is our gift shop, and a number of books and pamphlets and other things are available to any visitors and guests that come through.
Okay, with no other to do, we'll go into the old sanctuary.
I would say that this is the most beautiful church in the small town of Coffeeville, Mississippi. It's been here a long time, well over years.
And I assume that was the original organ?
Yes.
All right, we'll move right along.
And over here is a recent donation to the Historical Society. It was a countertop that used to be in the old Baker Hotel, which was one of the original hotels on the hilltop in the early days of the county. When the Baker Hotel was demolished, one of the local homeowners took the countertop and installed it in his kitchen. And when they sold the house just a few years ago, they moved it to Greenville, Mississippi, and just recently the son of that person donated it to the Historical Society. So
very good.
It's quite an old piece of.
And we'll move right along to the old organ. This is I assume, the original organ?
Yes. This is the one that Mrs. Stone used to play when she was the organist here many years ago.
All right.
The story is told that when one of the visiting pastors was here, and he suggested that they sing a song that was popular in the North during the Civil War.
The Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Battle Hymn of the Republic. She stopped playing and looked over at the pastor and said, "Pastor, we don't sing that song in this church."
Mm.
It's a beautiful old church. And I want to point out the stained glass window in the back. It was dedicated to R.S. Thomas, who was the pastor here for about 50 years. He was the pastor all through the Civil War.
Is that right? Well, that's beautiful.
They dedicated that window to him. This is the rear hallway, and has photographs of many of the former pastors and ministers here in years past. And this is our fellowship hall.
Can you turn the light on, please? All right. This is nice.
This is where the membership meets after each meeting. Come in and
you know what this picture is, this coffin?
it is a scene from the Civil War.
Okay.
I believe Don Sides donated that.
That's a beautiful place. Well, we'll move right along. I guess this is where they cook and prepare the food.
One of the things that needs to be renovated.
Yes.
It's not big enough to provide comfortably for all the memberships that we have, but it's what we have, so it's what we make do with. These are storage rooms here where we put
And
extra things.
restrooms, I guess.
And there's a restroom right there.
And this is a storage room
Yes, it is.
and an office, I guess. You've got files in here too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Many of the past issues of the Yalobusha Pioneer. The church was started actually in 1975, a year before the bicentennial. But it wasn't, it didn't gain its tax exempt status until 3 years
You
later.
said 19.
1975 is when
Was it 19? It was 18?
No, the Historical Society.
Oh, the whole, you said the church, Historical
The
Society.
Historical Society
Oh.
was actually started in 1975, but it didn't get its tax exempt status until about 1978.
All right. And this area is another part of where they have coffee,
It's kind of where they sit and talk, getting things ready to,
oh, okay.
for the evaporator.
And this is, of course, the restroom is in,
This part used to be, the old, Masonic Lodge in years ago, but,
and this was what?
this was the Coffeeville Masonic Lodge.
Okay.
And, when the Historical Society got the church, they asked the Masonic Lodge, which was no longer to donate this building, and they did. And so,
They tied it all
they
together.
tied it together
Yes. All right.
into one building.
And this is, what is this,
This is where many of the old photographs that have been donated to the Historical Society have been put on display. This is not nearly all of them, but it's representative of them. And some of the pamphlets that advertise.
like maybe that fell off the hook.
It did.
I'm glad it didn't break. All right.
And this is a jewel of the society. This is our library and research room. We have about,
We start on the right and go around, please. Okay, this is a map of Yalobusha County?
Yalobusha County and part of Tallahatchie County and Grenada County and Calhoun County. But it
Okay.
embraces all of the original, what was originally Yalobusha County
Okay.
before
Uh,
it was broken up into other counties. And these are some of the
That
pictures and
is,
historical events that have
the old house, whose house was that?
I believe
Herring?
this is the old Heron.
Yeah, right up the street.
Mm-hmm.
And this was,
I think that's the same house.
no, this was Russell Bailey House.
Mm.
But I mean, who had it originally? Armstrong's, or maybe? I know they had it, but I don't know who had it during the Civil War.
I believe it was
Well,
an
that's,
Irishman.
okay. Then, this is a map of the United States. This is their computers. You need to take over, get right here and,
And these are some of the pictures that have been donated to the society, and some pictures that have been taken at the society that we felt were historically significant enough to put on the wall.
this old house, I had taken a picture of that while it was burning. It was the old, well damaged before it was burned. It was the, what house was that?
Well, they call it the Moore Mansion these days,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
originally it belonged to John Harston, H-A-I-R-S-T-O-N, who was originally from Virginia, and at the time of the Civil War, the Harston family, of which he was a part of, probably are said to have been the largest slave-owning family in the South at that time. And John Harston was a great uncle to the Civil War General Jeb Stuart.
Is that right? All right, well, there's some more pictures. And this is the original photograph of this church,
That's right.
right here. It seems like you can't see it from this angle, but on the other side, in the bell tower, had a big clock. But it's hidden from this angle. All right, this is, yeah.
And these are our copy machines, and this is another thing that we need to replace. The copy machine worked very well for a long time, but now we do well to get 50 pages out of it at one time, and we need much more than that when we print the quarterly. These are files of research papers. These, this, and this, and this, and this, plus this one, are files that I donated before I went to Korea.
What kind of files?
Historical research.
Indian file?
Well, two of them are Indian. One is Chickasaw Indian tribe, and the other is the Choctaw Indian tribe collection. The research that I've done on those tribes and the history of this particular valley.
Oh, okay, well,
There were 16 filing cabinet drawers full of information from people that I have corresponded with over 40 years.
all right. Now, of course, this is the tables where they can lay out the books when they're looking at them. And we'll start with this wall. This is a picture of William Calvin Jones, a
That's right.
Confederate hero. In fact, he was my great uncle.
That's right.
And this is Dave Holby, one of the main directors now that's working over here.
That's right.
And here are some of their files, and Mr. Morgan will tell us about these, and we'll briefly run around the wall.
Well, the ones on this side are genealogical periodicals that we exchange with and have exchanged with over the last 40 years.
Well, that's nice. And here's the old photographs of the seniors at Coffeeville High School, and they preserved. And
They're not just from Coffeeville High School, but there's some from Campground High School and other.
oh, okay. There's other
schools
towns.
as
Yeah,
well.
that's nice. This is a general merchandise of. I guess this was a sack from one of the merchandises here in Coffeeville.
From a long ago.
Yes. And then more files, I guess. And what are these files?
These are also periodicals that we've exchanged with other historical societies. We send them ours, they send us theirs. And these are the same.
Oh, same thing. Okay, where you can get all kind of Civil War history and land grants and land patents. I think you got that here also.
That's also
And more classes,
how
pictures.
to do your family research for people that come in and they're not sure exactly how to get started. We can
Well, that's
look at this and help them to get started. And then these are references from all over the South and maybe some other places as well. We have a fairly large American Indian collection too.
and it's well organized, where you can get to it real well.
A couple of the ladies in the Historical Society devote their time to getting it organized. And
Who are the ladies?
Pat Brooks and Debbie Hughes.
Okay, that's nice. And here's some more of the Coffeeville graduating classes. And this is, who is this gentleman?
That is Michael Himmeter Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first harbor, first of the harbor to come into Yalobusha County back before 1850.
And this one?
And that is Edward Carey Walthall,
Oh,
who
earlier.
went on to become a U.S. Senator. Died in
From Mississippi, I
from
guess.
Mississippi. He began his career here in Coffeeville.
Is that right? And
He and L.Q.C. Lamar, who later became a Supreme Court justice,
oh,
both
and
started their careers here.
this is, who is the Indian?
I'm not sure.
Okay, and this is some more of the,
These are books that are ready to be reshelved.
okay, they just got them,
So
so,
when they use them over here, quite often they put them back over here, and then somebody
Yeah.
comes along.
so here's
and
a good table to read. This is a file cabinet for maps,
That's right.
and it looks like that's an old antique in itself.
We did. This came from one of the shops.
Tyler Wortham.
Tyler Wortham,
Yeah.
who was just closing up his business, and he donated this to the Historical Society when he knew that we needed a place to keep our maps.
And what is in these files here?
These are not used too much these days. They were used as an index to many of the files that we had over there, and they refer to early settlers and relatives that lived in the county.
Oh, all right, and move along, and I guess, is this, this right here, is that,
Just more books. These are primarily biographies and,
hadn't been put in the,
no, these are where they go. These are in the biographical section.
okay.
The historical section over there, but,
What is the box?
this was, donated by Hilly Griffin, some years ago. It was a, box that was used for on voting days. They put the ballots in this box, and he donated it to the Historical Society because they weren't using it anymore.
Well, that's nice. Well, Mr. Morgan, we appreciate your, tour. We'll see how this is gonna turn out, and,
There might be one more thing
Yeah,
that we
what?
need to talk about, and that's this book right here. And I'd have to toot my own horn to talk about it, but this was the result of about 40 years of research.
oh, it's,
We took the 1850 census of Yalobusha County, and we identified probably about 85% of the people who were living here at that time, and traced many of their families back to the immigrant ancestor and down to about 1900.
well, that's good. They're lucky to have that here,
Long project,
or blessed, I should say.
and they sell it for about $65 a piece.
What a bargain.
And it's
if you-
about 1,200 pages, a little over 1,200 pages.
Somebody did good work. Mr. Morgan that put that together did real work, and
Well, thank you,
we appreciate it.
thank you.
Well, I guess with no other to do, we'll wind this up today on, June, I believe it's, I was trying to see what day it was. I shouldn't have, June the 25th,
Yeah.
2019. All right, folks, we'll just wind this up, Mr. Morgan.
All
Thank you
right.
for the tour.
Thank you for the opportunity.